Hey man, you was in that motherfucker standing up while you were eating. When they bump down on you, they ask you, is you one of these five or is you a rapper? You said a rapper. I got facts about these, man. Hey man, I'm on your ass, man. You know what I'm talking about, man?
Pooh Shiesty is now dealing with a wake-up call that has his entire fanbase rethinking everything they believed about him, because behind the tough lyrics and the ruthless image he pushed, he was allegedly getting played and treated like a straight goofy by OGs behind the walls, and the truth about what really went down in prison is way more humiliating than anyone expected. So we are breaking it all down right now. What's good, fam? We're diving headfirst into real prison politics that have the Memphis rap scene buzzing and everybody talking. And before we get into how crazy this situation is, let me be real with you. Social media has been flooded with rumors about how Pooh Shiesty was really moving while locked up, and an OG who did time with him has stepped forward to expose exactly what type of timing he was on. But we're here to separate fact from fiction, real from fake, and show what actually happened when this so-called street menace hit the pen, because for those who don't know, Pooh Shiesty built his entire career off the image of being an untouchable South Memphis gangster, rapping about bodies, shootouts, and running the streets fearless, and fans genuinely believed he lived everything he said and was one of the realest in the game. But according to this OG, that whole image fell apart the moment those cell doors shut, and before anyone calls this clout chasing, the details shared are specific, detailed, and paint a completely different picture than the one shown in music videos, and what allegedly happened to him inside is something that could permanently ruin his street credibility. So let's rewind and talk about who Pooh Shiesty really is and how he even got here. Born Lontrell Donnell Williams Jr. in Memphis, Tennessee, he wasn't just some random kid chasing rap dreams. He was born into a family with real street ties. His father was a known street figure and the founder of Mob Ties, so from day one he was surrounded by that lifestyle. Growing up in the Cane Creek apartments in South Memphis, he was expected to follow that same path, inherit that gangster DNA, and live up to his father's reputation. Hearing stories of street runs, jail time, and dangerous living shaped his childhood, and naturally he tried to walk in those footsteps. Getting expelled from middle school by age 11, catching charges early, and wearing ankle monitors before even hitting puberty, known in the streets as a reckless kid always into something, which is how he earned the name Shiesty for being slick and finessing people, and in the hood reputation is everything, so he built his on being a menace, linking up with childhood friend Big 30 and other young hitters to form what became Chopper Gang, one of the most notorious crews in Memphis. And this wasn't just a rap clique or kids claiming sets for attention. Chopper Gang was a hybrid crew made up of members from major sets across South Memphis and White Haven, Real street dudes getting money however they could, with a name that came from their reputation for always being armed with choppers, AKs, Dracos, and heavy firepower, known for robberies, hitting licks, and reckless movement around the city, with members like Big 30, Lil Hank, and Antwop, all certified in the streets. But they were smart enough to turn that reputation into music. Big 30 signing first to Moneybagg Yo's label opened doors. Pooh Shiesty's aggressive raw style caught Gucci Mane's attention, and Gucci saw the same fearless energy he once had, leading to a deal with 1017 and Atlantic that put Memphis in a new spotlight. While the streets talked about Chopper Gang's bodies, shootings, robberies, and beef with rappers like Big Boogie, Big Scar's war with Double R, and the entire movement being rooted in violence and credibility, and when Back in Blood with Lil Durk dropped, it became an anthem based on real beef with EBG, topping Billboard, hitting 50 million views fast, and cementing Pooh Shiesty as a fearless figure. But all that caught up with him after the Miami incident, where he allegedly robbed people during a drug deal gone wrong, shots fired, people injured, and his crew fleeing in a green McLaren right across from a police station, which is where everything started falling
Police
apart.
Department.
Now, on just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox.
When the feds finally caught up to him, Pooh Shiesty was slammed with major charges that instantly changed everything, turning what once looked like an unstoppable run into a serious legal nightmare with real consequences staring him in the face.
Serious charges.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Rhode Island says you're wanted with
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
He was facing conspiracy, robbery, and firearms charges that could have put him away for decades. And this was not some local case he could finesse with a solid lawyer. This was federal time, and the feds do not play. So eventually Pooh Shiesty took a plea deal and was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison, which crushed his fans who were hoping he would beat the case or at least get a lighter sentence. But reality hit hard when they realized their favorite rapper, the so-called untouchable street legend, would be locked up during the prime of his career. And for anyone who does not understand prison politics, especially in federal facilities, there is a strict hierarchy and unspoken rules inmates have to follow. Gangs control certain yards, and if you are not affiliated or you are seen as weak, you get tested immediately. And one of the most disrespectful things that can happen is being forced to stand while you eat in the chow hall, something usually reserved for sex offenders, snitches, and inmates with no protection. Because standing while everyone else sits is a public signal that you are being punked, that you have no respect, and that you are considered beneath others. And this is where the OG's claims about Pooh Shiesty come in. Because in a viral video, an older inmate who did time with him alleged that when Pooh Shiesty first arrived, he was asked by gang members what he claimed, which in prison means what gang or set you are affiliated with, since that determines your protection and status. And despite rapping about Chopper Gang and a hardcore street image, the OG says Pooh Shiesty responded that he was just a rapper and not affiliated with any gang, which in prison culture labels you as a civilian with no backing. And according to the OG, that decision caused him to be treated like a non-affiliate and forced to stand while eating his meals just like sex offenders and snitches, with the OG saying, "You was in that standing up while you eat. When they bumped down on you, they asked you, is you 5 or was you a rapper? You said a rapper. You let a dude basically disrespect you, man, made you stand up and eat your food." That is some seriously embarrassing stuff when you really sit and think about it, because this is the same guy who rapped about robbing people, shooting at his whoops, and being a fearless gangster. Yet once he was behind the walls and tested by real convicts, he allegedly folded and accepted being treated like he was nobody. And what really has people shook is how this directly contradicts everything Pooh Shiesty built his career on, since his whole image was about toughness, respect in the streets, and never backing down from anyone. But if what this OG is saying is true, then he was moving like a scared civilian in prison, and that is a terrible look in hip-hop, where authenticity means everything and fans want to believe artists are really living what they rap about. Because getting exposed as fake or softer than claimed can completely destroy credibility, especially when standing up while eating in prison is seen as one of the most humiliating things possible, since it publicly signals weakness, lack of respect, and victim status. So the idea that Pooh Shiesty allegedly went through this without fighting back is shocking to many fans. But the situation is complicated because while some fans feel betrayed and say the image they believed in has been shattered, others argue he made a smart move by not claiming gang affiliation, since federal time is different and getting involved in prison gang politics can add years to a sentence, meaning he may have chosen to do his time quietly and get back to his music career as fast as possible. And this whole situation highlights a bigger issue in hip-hop, the gap between being a street rapper and actually being built for prison life. Because growing up around street activity does not always mean someone is a gang member or prepared for the reality of incarceration, where the rules are harsher and the people have nothing to lose. So maybe Pooh Shiesty realized he was in over his head and chose self-preservation, even if it came with disrespect. But the problem is he built his entire brand on being fearless and never backing down, which is why allegations of him getting punked create a major credibility crisis, especially since this is not the first time rappers who talk tough have been questioned over their behavior behind bars, though most cases never became this public. And now fans are split between those who only care about the music and those who feel lied to, making it clear that this situation is not just about prison rumors but about the risks of building an image you may not be able to uphold in every environment, especially when locked up among real killers and gang members. The culture has always cared about authenticity, but at the same time we have to acknowledge that prison is built to break people down. So maybe Pooh Shiesty made the smart move by avoiding gang politics and trying to serve his time in peace. Or maybe he really did fold under pressure and proved he is not as tough as his music makes him sound. And now the real question becomes what happens when he comes home, whether his fans will still support him with these allegations floating around, whether other rappers and street dudes will respect him or see him as someone who got exposed, and whether he will ever address these claims head-on or stay silent and hope it all fades away. Because one thing is clear, this situation has sparked a serious conversation about authenticity in hip-hop and the difference between being a rapper and being a gangster. Not everyone who grows up in the hood is built for prison life, and maybe that is fine, but if you are going to rap about being a fearless street legend, then people are going to hold you to that standard. So let us know what you think about Pooh Shiesty's situation and his future in the rap game, whether these allegations hurt his credibility or if he made the right choice by staying out of prison politics. Drop your thoughts in the comments and click the video on screen for more content exposing what really goes on in the industry. Until next time fam, stay real and stay solid.